My name is Tim Roberts. I'm the VP of Interactive and Design at Fitbit. I'm responsible for product management, design, UX research, product analytics for all the digital products we do. We have another group here that's responsible for the physical hardware, but we do all the digital side in terms of the product management and design for it.
What's the most important thing I need to know to step into your role here?
A lot of my job these days is about building teams. Great software is I believe, a social art. Your job is essentially akin to creating rock bands, that you need to construct and pull together the right musicians, the right people to be able to play in the band together. While certainly there have been products that have been made by individuals, but where there are rock stars who go make an incredible product, I don't think that's the methodology we have here. How you foster and create those teams as units, how you stay in touch with them so you understand if something's going awry, if one of the members doesn't mesh with the other members. At the end of the day, if you can step back and say, wow, we've got rock band and a country western band and a death metal band, or whatever the flavors of bands are that you need that can make amazing music, that's what this role is about.
What is an average day like for you here at work at Fitbit?
We have numerous teams all working in parallel, and I try to spend as much of my time as possible being engaged with those teams, understanding the roadblocks that they're hitting, the challenges that they're running into, and trying to connect the dots between those teams so that the work that they're doing really fits nicely together. And then the other piece of it is the recruiting piece of my job, which is, we're trying to build more and more of those teams out. So talking to lots of people on a daily basis who are potential product managers, potential designers, who are interested in what we're doing and figuring out if they could be a member of one of those teams.
What was your job role when you joined? What was your job like then, and how has it changed over the past few years?
When I joined the company, we were a little bit less than 10 people. So we're a little bit north of 220 people now, so pretty different feel of company back then. My role was essentially the same role that I have now. It was just that I did a lot more of the work myself. I was actually doing interface design, I was actually doing product requirements, I was figuring out stuff in a much more hands-on way, whereas luckily these days we have much more talented people to do that actual work than me actually doing interface design.
When you were a kid growing up, what was the thing that you wanted to be?
I wanted to be an artist when I grew up.
Wow. And how did you get from being an artist to being in the tech industry? So
I went to college and ended up getting a liberal arts degree. I got a bachelor's in psych from Vassar College. And it was really at the end of my education that I came to the realization that I really didn't want to do academia, I didn't want to do psychology. I wanted to make stuff. I wanted to design, build, and make stuff. And so then I had to figure out, how do you go from a degree in psychology to building and making and designing stuff? I attempted to explore the field of industrial design, but you actually had to have real credentials as a designer to get into that, which I didn't have. And so I found that I could actually transition my experience in doing psychology to working in the software world. And that became a segue into doing product management and actually making products in software. And everything else I just learned by doing and learned on the job. There was one specific class that I think was really instrumental for me, which was in cognitive science. It really mixed everything from computer science to neurobiology to psychology to anthropology. Ultimately, product management, making software, is also very multidisciplinary. It's really understanding how engineering, how design, how the business all get mixed together. And so I think it was that combination of things that made me feel very passionate and excited about being able to apply that multidisciplinary approach to making something new.
Do you have something that you do that is a creative outlet?
Between the young kids, Fitbit, and trying to actually stay healthy and just spend time with the family, it doesn't leave a lot outside of that. That said, my latest practice, which has been awesome, is my eldest son has become really interested in drawing monsters. So every night before I go to bed, I draw him a new monster, and I leave that out on the kitchen table. And so when he gets up at 5:15 in the morning, he gets excited and he goes downstairs and he finds the monster and he colors the monster in, which also has the double effect of actually letting me sleep in for another 15 to 20 minutes, but also means that I get to draw a new monster every night for my kid.
As you've seen more and more people walking around with these Fitbits on and talking about their steps, How does that feel for you?
You know, when I started at Fitbit, it was still very much of an early adopter, kind of geeky product. And to see it go from being this early adopter product when it was launched at TechCrunch to, you know, being in every single Best Buy, being in, you know, I think we're in over 20,000 retail storefronts nationwide in the U.S. alone, and in many, many countries around the world. It's pretty amazing, and it happens super fast. And you know, when I get on BART and I see someone wearing a Fitbit, when I go to the gym and see people wearing Fitbits, it's amazing. Societally, we have used engineering and technology to engineer activity out of our lives for many, many decades. Whether it's remote controls or software games or elevators or escalators or cars or whatever that technology is, so much of it, actually the consequence of it is it makes you sit around a lot more and move less. And so to use technology to kind of fight back the other direction, to interject more activity into people's lives is an amazing mission. And when you think about what's the challenges that we're facing societally, a lot of it has to do with the fact that we spend most of our days sitting in front of a computer, which is not what we were biologically designed to do. So to use technology to bring awareness and engagement to inactivity is a fantastic job to have.